Good morning to you, Carly.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Well, that is a piece of rare good news out of this terrible tragedy.
Of course. We did get definite confirmation today from those prosecutors there after a horrific slaughter of too many there in Paris. Mrs. Fiorina, let me ask you this. The current refugee crisis that we're facing right now, and the situation, the bill that the president plans to veto, his plan right now sets to accept 10,000 Syrian refugees, up to over 100,000 refugees overall over the course of this year. What is your reaction to his move to veto a bill that calls for stronger reform and insurance of our national security?
Well, yesterday I called the president delusional, and I think it's the right word. Look, politics is the only thing he knows. He does not know leadership. He is being politician-in-chief, not commander-in-chief. It is absurd to continue to back a program where we know that we cannot adequately certify who these people are. The vast majority of the American people have the common sense and good judgment to know that we have to stop this program until our own government can assure us that we know who these people are and that they do not pose a threat.
Okay.
And our own government cannot do that today.
Mrs. Fiorina, you said this about refugees as it relates to work right here in the United States. Watch.
As pitiful as these pictures are of mothers and their children, and they are pitiful, the truth is this: the vast majority of these refugees are young, able-bodied men looking for work, and we do not have a moral obligation to provide everyone looking for work with an opportunity to work.
You obviously stand by those comments today, correct?
Absolutely, yes. There are women and children engaged in this refugee crisis. Yes. President Obama is typical fashion goads Republicans from the Philippines instead of acknowledging his own administration and his own leadership failure. But we now know, of course, that women also can be a danger, and it remains the case that the majority of these refugees are young, able-bodied men looking for work. We know now in the Paris attack that a terrorist slipped in through the stream of refugees. This is common sense and good judgment to say stop. Halt. We cannot continue this program unless we can guarantee the safety of the American people, and today we cannot. And our own FBI tells us that they are frankly overwhelmed trying to follow the number of leads of potential lone wolves, or worse, packs of wolves already here in this country.
Mrs. Fiorina, what was your reaction to John Kerry walking back his comments initially when he tried to draw comparison between the Charlie Hebdo attacks and those that occurred just about a week ago, killing Parisians there? He walked back his comments that he originally made just yesterday. Your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, trying to explain that there was some justification, some rationale for the Charlie Hebdo attacks. Honestly, it reminds me a bit of Hillary Clinton telling us that we need to try and empathize with our enemies. What it says is Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Barack Obama do not understand the nature of this threat. They will not call this threat by its name: radical Islamic terrorism. ISIS is at war with us, and therefore we must be at war with them, and we must win that war.
So Hillary Clinton is set to unveil her new plan. It includes points like this: defeating ISIS in Syria, Iraq, across the region, dismantling the growing terrorist infrastructure, facilities that flow fighters, financing arms, propaganda around the world, harden our defenses and those of our allies against external and homegrown threats. What do you think of that, and how would your plan as a president, Fiorina, contrast hers?
Well, first of all, it sounds great, doesn't it? Sort of like Barack Obama, say all the right things. Unfortunately, she's done all the wrong things. She declared victory in Iraq and withdrew precipitously for political expediency instead of listening to our generals on the ground. And this administration, whether it's in Libya after the Benghazi terrorist attack, which she called a videotape that didn't represent our values, or whether it's Syria or whether it's Iraq, this administration has done all the wrong things. President Obama has convinced too many Americans that if you don't agree with what he's not doing, the only option is tens of thousands of boots on the ground. Let us start with an acknowledgement that his bombing campaign has suddenly become more effective in the last 3 days. We should have been, and we should continue to wage a far more effective bombing campaign, which, yes, does mean special ops forces on the ground. But also our Arab allies in this region who have been fighting ISIS on the ground as we speak for quite a long time, whether those are the Kurds, the Jordanians, the Turks, the Saudis, the Egyptians, the Bahrainis, you name it. They have asked us for very specific things: bombs and materiel, intelligence sharing, coordination on the ground. We have done none of it. I would do all of it. Look, we have allies who understand that this is their fight as well. They will help us fight, as will the French and the Germans now and the British as well. But only the United States of America can lead, and we must provide support and resolve and leadership to win this fight.
Lead being the key word. Mrs. Fiorina, we thank you for your time and insight today.
Yes, lead being, and you cannot lead from behind.
No, you cannot. Great to see you.